Good afternoon. My name is Rich Brokini. I'm a PIO for CAL FIRE Incident Management Team 6. Welcome to the community meeting for the Cal Door incident. Today is August 31st at 5 p.m. Thank you for joining us on Zoom and on Facebook. The meeting will consist of an informational update, an operational update, a weather update, fire behavior update, an update for our law enforcement, and then we'll do questions and answers. Once we get done with that, we're going to do closing comments with our incident commander. And then when we get done with that, we're going to do a condensed version of this meeting in Spanish, in Espanol. So right now, this fire is at 191,607 acres in size, 16% containment, and firefighters and personnel fighting this fight in the ground and the air are 3,904. We still have 33,679 structures that remain in threat. Information for this incident comes out consistently twice daily at 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. They're information disseminated via our information update sheets that look like this. We're also very active on social media, our Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. We have email sign up as well, and if you sign up for that email, you'll get any and everything that comes out of this incident. Press releases regarding evacuations, reductions, things of that nature. Additionally, we have a QR link that we put everywhere. It's a square little box. If you take your phone and you scan that QR link, it's going to populate a link tree, and that link tree essentially brings up 16 different links, and you can look at any one of those links about anything and everything regarding this respective incident. So please take time to do that. Lastly, we also have a phone number where you can call and talk to a public information officer. That phone number is 530-303-2455. With that, let's get started with an operational update from Operations Section Chief.
Good evening, Eric Schwab, Operations Section Chief with Incident Management Team 6. I'll give you an update around the whole fire. I'm starting from Division R all the way around through Division A. We have black line through all of that area, which means that area is just in a tactical patrol and a mop-up time period where we're going in, and there's a lot of dozer piles from tractor dozer line that we put in here that kind of hold heat, so we're just meticulously in there breaking those up and pulling hose out where we can so we can reutilize that hose on other parts of the fire. One success that we had yesterday is we finally got around this piece in Division Delta. It was literally like a quarter of a mile of steep line into the canyon, and we finally got that line put in there and beat that fire up with a ton of helicopters supporting a ton of folks on the ground, and that is currently holding in its place. We need to mop that up. It's heavy fuels in there for a good 2 or 3 days. It's getting a little bit of a wind test today, so that's what we want. We want to see how it's going to react under some different conditions, and hopefully we'll get this blacked in here in the next couple days. As we move up along Fox, again, tactical patrols along Highway 50 there's 2 key spots that I still have concerns with along Highway 50. One is at Ice House Road. We have a big unburned island that is starting to burn out in there, and we're keeping an eye on that. We're in there with hotshot crews, dozers, engine companies today, trying to cut this out direct and stop this whole large unburned piece from burning. The fear is that if we get a wind shift, it'll blow smoke over Ice House Road, and wherever the smoke goes, typically that's where we end up chasing spot fires. Same scenario right here with this little triangle piece right above Kybers, right where it slopped over the north side of 50 a couple weeks ago. There's a little triangle piece. There's Silver Fork right there in the American River, so there's a confluence. The winds are super squirrely and they're swirling around, so the fire's heating up and it's pushing smoke over the road. Not as critical here because we have black that's right here, but yeah, it still is challenging. One thing we do have going on today is the control line that we had up here, up Wrights Lake Road, tying this basically into the wilderness, the desolation. The fire spotted outside of that control line today. It's making pretty substantial runs direct to the west. There's a strong, almost west wind on it. I'm sorry, it's running to the east. It's making a run towards Wrights Lake. We have multiple resources up there engaged, ready to do structure defense with the cabins around Wrights Lake. As we move up all the way into Tahoe, tons of resources on 50, Again, still in here doing a lot of prep along those structures, Camp Sacramento, all those areas. There are literally fire engines from here all the way down into Tahoe. Still doing, there's pockets, I just drove through there. There's a lot of pockets of unburned islands that are burning out, that are still closing in on cabins that are in there. So we're in there actively firefighting and defending the structures that are in there. I did see some damage to structures. The fire burned through there extremely fast, extremely hot, and we did the best that we could, and we're still in there. The head of the fire out here has not made it into Kirkwood yet. Our tactic down here, as you can see, we've got multiple dozer lines, and we're basically just trying to herd this fire, put a dozer line in between all these structures out here and the fire, and we can't control it. It's just we don't have any tools out there to stop the fire, so we result to herding the fire away from structures and away from people, and that's what we're actively doing. As soon as the fire behavior settles down, it's not so critical, then we go in and find those opportunities with tractors and handline and firing, and we make an offensive attack to stop the fire. Same thing, we're doing structure defense in here, trying to herd the fire away from all these homes and all the infrastructure that's out here. As we move down, this is all out in no man's land. I mean, it's just rough country. The fire wasn't burning too active out here. As people know, it's super rocky, a lot of meadows and stuff like that. So it's out here just doing its thing. Yesterday, the fire got very active in this finger just west of Kirkwood. It burned very active again today, just as the head of this fire did. Our control line was 88. The area back here, we were able to fire all of this in over the last 24 hours, and we have good control over it. Although it looks like some fires on the bottom of 88 right here, it's not. We've held this piece, although on the big dogleg on 88 right here by Silver, the fire slopped over and some heavy fuels in there. We were making an attempt to go direct. The fire activity picked up in there a couple hours ago, and direct is no longer an option, so we've had to back off, and we got to give up a little bit more ground and go back in and get it when the fire behaves and calms down on us. Fire is not in Kirkwood proper, but we do have a structure defense group established in Kirkwood with 20 engines. Should the fire get in there, they're in there actively doing prep on those structures right now. Again, and everything tying back in along the heel of the fire is looking good. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm incident meteorologist Jim Dudley with your weather update. So this afternoon, we saw the strong winds up on the ridges, and we had relative humidity values as low as 8%, upper single digits running all along the Highway 50 corridor and even down heading in towards South Lake. So lots of very dry air, lots of wind. So where do we go from here on this? We have a red flag warning remaining in effect, and that'll remain in effect through 11 o'clock tomorrow night. So Wednesday, all day, all night tonight, and all day tomorrow, we're in red flag conditions. And those red flag conditions are for low relative humidity and strong gusty winds, especially up over the ridges. So for tomorrow, we're going to see, I'm optimistic, we'll have some slight improvement in this very critical weather pattern. The humidities will come up just a little bit, and the wind will be a little bit lighter. Now, that's kind of a misnomer. We're still going to have gusty winds. I think today is the worst of the weather days. Tomorrow's going to be another bad weather day. I mean, I'll be honest with you. But it'll be the last one of those. There's a light at the end of this tunnel. Looking at all the weather data and in cooperation with the National Weather Service in Reno, the National Weather Service in Sacramento. We've been watching this very carefully, and it looks like on Thursday the winds are going to lighten up considerably, and that's going to make for a much better situation here on the fire footprint. So keep that in mind. We got to get through tonight and tomorrow. Things look better come Thursday. So that's your weather update. Have a nice evening.
Good evening, Stephen Vollmer, Fire Behavior Analyst with Incident Management Team 6. So with the strong winds that we've seen, with the low humidities that we've seen, and the high temperatures that we experienced today out on the fire, our probability of ignition was above 90%. In some places, it was reaching 95%. With those winds, as it ran through the forest, it created what's called an active crown fire run, where the fire actually goes from treetop to treetop. When it does that, those ember casts that it throws out are going over a mile in distance. So that's what's propagating the spread of the fire right now, is that long-range downwind spotting of that ember cast. Those embers are landing in the very old, very dense fuels that are out there in the fire environment. The area in the fire has not seen fire history all the way back before 1940. So we're seeing a lot of dense woodland out there that the troops are working in. Tomorrow we're going to see a little bit of the same. We're going to see that spotting distance all the way up to 1 mile, and we're going to see that continued probability of ignition extremely high, above 90%. When we get into those active crown fire runs that I spoke of, we're going to see those rates of spread go up to at least 200 feet per minute in those crown run models, and as it comes back down to the floor, we're going to see those about divide in half.
Dave Barker, Law Enforcement Liaison, Team 6. I want to talk about evacuations, warnings, and repopulation. So first I want to go over evacuation warnings. Those are areas we issue a warning at where we think the fire is getting close, but we're not telling you to get out. We're telling you to start preparing yourselves, making sure that your vehicle's ready, making sure that you've prepped things, grabbed clothes and items that you want to take with you, so you're not scrambling at the last minute. That's also the case for people who may have a hard time moving, limited movement, things that's going to take you a lot longer to get out. An evacuation order is, we want to get you out of that area for your safety and for the safety of firefighters, so they can get in there with all of the resources to put out this fire. I want to bring you over to the evacuation repopulation map. We have issued a few new evacuation orders and warnings on the east end, out here over towards Nevada and Alpine County. You heard operations talk about the fire movement today in both the fingers up here going down. So we issued a couple warnings and orders in Alpine County, and we also coordinated with Nevada to issue some warnings and orders out in the Nevada area. Yesterday, we were able to do some repopulation in the southern area below Omo Ranch, and we're working with operations to get it clear so we can start working more repopulation efforts in that area. We continue to work with operations on when it'll be safe to start bringing repopulation up into the northern area of Camino and Pollock Pines. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, this time we're going to go ahead and conduct questions and answers. So one question we get, are there any structures that have been lost, is what the term was, and we refer to it as damaged or destroyed. So a few things we want to talk about on that topic. On this incident update sheet that goes out daily, we update that. Information's up there on this particular form. So right now we have single residents destroyed, 486. Commercial properties destroyed are 11. Other minor structures are 172. And structures damaged are 40. So that's what we put out every single day at 7 a.m., 7 p.m. Additionally, you can find out any information you want to know about structures that were damaged or destroyed through our tree link. You go to that QR code and you hover your phone over it, and it populates. Let me bring it up right now. It populates that 16 link, and at the very top, you're going to have damage map right there. That'll give you all the information you're looking for. Additionally, you can go to edc.gov.us as well, and it'll take you to the same place. We also want to remind everybody that the damage inspection process is a continuous process. We have damage inspection teams that go out there and they work throughout the entire incident as it's safe to do so. So sometimes it may seem like a lag period, but they are working very diligently and very hard for you to get you that information. And we understand it's important. So we thank you very much for understanding it's an ongoing process. And you should be notified by the county regarding that damaged or destroyed structure.
Good evening, Scott Rogers, Forest Service Agency Administrative Representative for the El Dorado National Forest. We had a question around the forest closure and how that relates to the fire order closure. So once we've put this fire out and it's safe to do so and Team 6 has moved on, we do have a forest closure order still in effect. Once it's safe to enter the national forest, we will lift that as appropriate. But for those of you who do have, say, a recreation residence cabin or other special use permit holders, say for a ski area, those types of things, we do have an exemption process that you can contact your local administrator for, and we can get you into the forest and have you access your area. As well as others who have needs, they can contact their local forest administrator or district ranger, and we can take those on by case basis. Thank you.
Okay, I got some questions here. Updates on Strawberry, Kybers, and Wrights Lake. So a lot like I talked about, and I'll pop one. I pointed up here and said Kirkwood. I meant Heavenly. Thanks to whoever caught me on that one. The fire has not made it into Heavenly. Strawberry, the fires already went through Strawberry. It went through there 2 to 3 days ago, and we did the exact same tactic that we're employing out here. We just herded the fire through and around Strawberry, not through it, around Strawberry, and did a lot of great work in there. I'm sure there was some damage in there, but we give it our best fight every single time. Same thing with Kybers. Kybers still has kind of this little green island burning by it, and that's again a concern that we're mitigating by going out and trying to extinguish it. Wrights Lake right now, like I said earlier, Wrights Lake has the fire running at it right here up on the top, and we have a bunch of resources in there right now. We've already been in there multiple days ago when the fire first spotted on the north side of 50. We were in there with resources doing structure prep, and then now we're back in there to defend those structures. We also moved about 10 or 11 tractors up Wrights Lake Road again to start getting out in front of that thing, trying to stop the spread to the north and the west. Yep, I did say Kirkwood and I meant Heavenly earlier. Will the Caldor fire meet the Tamarack? So again, talking back about herding and corralling the fire, sometimes when it's burning extreme, that's all we can do. And yes, we have operations maps with the Tamarack fire on it, and yes, we are going to try and steer it into the Tamarack fire. It's a fresh burn, and if we get it steered into there, whatever portion we get turned into it, that basically stops the spread of the fire. So that's a very valid tactic that we're actively trying to do. Kirkwood Lake looks good. The fire is not near it yet, but it is burning towards it. We're trying everything we can to keep all the fire on the north side of 88. Right now I've got several hundred acres out in a steep rocky spot with a lot of timber, and it's a challenge under the current burning conditions, but we have the finest firefighters out there that got booted out of there by extreme fire behavior, and as soon as that settles, we'll knock it down with aircraft, and we'll be re-engaged on that tonight 100% with all the equipment that we have out there. Christmas Valley, we herded the fire around Christmas Valley last night. There's still fire backing down in different spots at Christmas Valley, but we have dozer line and a ton of resources up there. We will do everything we can. I don't want one single structure to get impacted. Same thing, Sly Park is looking really good. We've done, I just can't explain the incredible job and how firefighters took that fire down. Sly Park literally burned in people's backyards, and it was successful and stopped that fire right there. We're just mopping it up, and we will get folks back in there as fast as we safely can do it. Silver Lake, the fire's right at Silver Lake. They're on 88. I will tell you we're using Silver Lake as one of our primary water sources for rotary wing helicopters that are out here dropping water on the fire's edge. So Silver Lake is seeing a lot of attention from us. And that is the last of my questions. Thank you very much.
Eric Palmberg, PIO for the El Dorado County Sheriff's Office. First question we got here they want me to address is evacuations in the Nevada area. So as dictated on the map here, we have two sections in Nevada, Upper Kingsbury and Lower Kingsbury. They're on the map here, as well as they will be shown on the map on the CAL FIRE update that goes out tonight at 7 p.m., as well as there's a particular description on those documents that detail the streets and the exact area if you can't really tell where your residence is on that map. Second question is related to getting a pass to get back into your house. There's a lot of rumors out there that there are passes to get back into your house. These passes do not exist. If you live in an evacuated order area, there are no passes. There is some confusion, I think, with passes regarding agriculture operations. If you have an agriculture operation, if you're a rancher with cattle, vineyards, up in the Apple Hill area growing fruits and whatnot, you can go to the agriculture department. They certify that you are a certified grower or agricultural business in the county. Then that goes to the sheriff's office, and then we can actually get you in for a period of time to harvest your crops, tend to your cattle, things like that. But there are no passes for individuals to get in any evacuated areas. Timeline on repopulation, I think it's been touched on several times. There is no exact timeline on any repopulation. I can attest and tell all of you now that every day here in fire camp, there's 5 to 6 meetings. All of these professionals, CAL FIRE, the Forest Service, CHP, PG&E, EID Water, there are meetings continuously throughout the day, constantly evaluating when we can repopulate and when we can't repopulate. Everybody's making every effort to get you back in your homes as soon as possible. And when these people determine that it is safe to get back in our homes, we will put that information out. We will get you in there as fast as we can. Another question regarding that is Grizzly Flats. Question about repopulating Grizzly Flats. I'll kind of take that last topic to the next level. Grizzly Flat area, obviously we lost a lot of infrastructure in there. Phone lines, power lines, PG&E, Comcast, Verizon, all of these people, EID Water, Grizzly Flats Water, they're all in these meetings every day discussing how to get these systems back in place to get everybody back into their homes. So as soon as it is possible, everybody's making every effort, and there's crews up there when they can be up there. We're doing everything we can to get you back in your homes as fast as we can. I think it's already been touched on. Several questions here about Camino and Pollock Pines. Again, these discussions are occurring every day. As soon as it is safe to do so, we will get you back into your homes. We know it's a difficult time. We ask for your patience, and we're doing everything we can from the Sheriff's Office, CAL FIRE, the Forest Service. Everybody involved is making every effort to get you back in there. PG&E, have we started bringing power back into the evacuated areas? I do know that PG&E has been doing a lot of work in the Grizzly Flats area. They had to tear down a lot of the infrastructure with their power lines that were damaged, and I know they have been putting in new poles. I can't speak to the numbers, but I know that PG&E is very involved in the Grizzly Flats area. I think that's it. Thank you very much.
Good evening, Dusty Martin, one of the Unified Incident Commanders for the Caldor incident. So today was another very active day for a couple areas of the fire. We have had the winds that have popped up and continue to push the fire. Understand there's multiple drainages in and out, so we'll see winds go in one direction on one part of the fire, and we'll see winds go in a completely opposite direction on the other end of the fire, as the wind channels through the different tributaries and canyons that surround this topography. We have a number of resources that have been committed to all of those areas that are in the more active areas, but I trust you, even because there's some black on this map over here, we still have plenty of resources. Continue to reinforce these lines and make sure that this is completely out here and through here. 50 we talked about. I think our operations gave a fairly in-depth update tonight that covered all the areas, and we have pushed a number of resources into the Lake Tahoe Basin to continue with that. There's a ton of questions coming in about repopulation. I think our El Dorado County Sheriff's Department spoke to it well. We meet multiple times a day. Our goal is to get each and every one of you back into your homes as soon as possible. We do not take this lightly that you've been out of your homes for this long. Just understand we are doing everything we can. We are making sure we have all the parties at the table to discuss, and as soon as it is safely as possible to get you in there, we will get you back into your homes. Every day we are trying that. We are keeping a good pulse on the fire. We're maintaining that we still have those resources. In the next couple of days, we will see some changes to the command structure of the incident as we're bringing in another incident management team to take over a portion of the fire on that eastern side. And they will be engaged here in the next couple of days. But that does not mean that the two teams are not going to talk, and we're going to be in close coordination. It's still one fire. We're just going to manage the span of control a little bit due to the vast difference in time frames to get around the fire. But we will be standing side by side, making decisions together that affect the entire fire. With that, have a great evening, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Buenas tardes, Ricardo Tlapala. Vocero, el incidente Caldor, con el breve informativo de hoy, el 30 de agosto de 2021. En actualización, les quiero avisar que el incendio ha consumido 191,607 acres. Está a 16% de contenimiento y tenemos a 3,904 bomberos comprometidos a la batalla para que regresen a sus hogares. También les quiero avisar que publicamos nuestra información 2 veces al día. Esa información la puede conseguir por medio de nuestras redes sociales, en Facebook, en Twitter y en Instagram. Con la breve operativa que les voy a explicar, hoy el reto que se nos presentó más es el sistema de aire que ha pasado en el incendio. Lo que vemos es que hemos visto vientos muy veloces que incrementan la actividad del incendio, y esa incrementación causa que crezca el incendio. Acá en la división A y la par surte del incendio, lo que hemos visto es buen control. Tenemos líneas mecánicas puestas y ahora nada más tenemos unidades patrullando el área para ver si se nos pasó algo. Pero todas nuestras líneas al sur se han mantenido y no ha habido incremento del incendio ahí. En la división A tenemos toda esta parte del fuego activo redondada con líneas mecánicas. Usamos excavadoras, carrillos de mano y tenemos unidades presentes en el área extinguiendo el fuego que queda. Y hemos tenido buen control de esta área y esta área no ha crecido. Acá al norte, a la división D, donde vemos la división de las ramas, nuestras líneas han mantenido bien y tenemos patrullas en la área extinguiendo lo que se nos haya haber pasado. Hacia la carretera 50, lo que hemos visto hoy por los terrenos, el terreno muy escarpado y con los vientos están causando que brinque, que salte las ascuas. Esas ascuas llegan a islas. Lo que es una isla es una parte geográfica de vegetación que no se quemó y está redondada por fuego o por fuego que ya pasó. Estas áreas las vemos aquí y seguimos comprometidos en estas áreas con los recursos que tenemos disponibles para encender el incendio. Donde vimos la más actividad fue hacia el este del incendio, al este del incendio, que esto causó que tuviéramos nuevas órdenes de evacuación que voy a cubrir en un minuto. Lo que hemos visto es que el fuego y las ascuas brincaron y cruzaron nuestras líneas de contención. Por eso comprometimos más equipos, más unidades y más carrillas de mano en esos terrenos para poder controlar el incendio. Lo que nos quiere recordar nuestro meteorólogo es que todavía tenemos un día más de los vientos veloces que expectamos mañana. Esa advertencia no se expira hasta las 8 de la noche. Donde vimos más actividad acá en el sureste del incendio es en la carretera 80. Por el terreno y el tipo de combustible que está disponible en esa área, vimos que el incendio creció y se incrementó. Si me siguen acá el mapa de evacuación, les queremos acordar, lo que es una orden de evacuación significa que tiene que abandonar la área geográfica. En esa área geográfica es presente una amenaza letal como un incendio y necesitamos removerlos del área para que puedan entrar unidades de bomberos para poder funcionar sin ponerlos a ustedes a riesgo. Como creció el incendio, ahora tenemos nuestras órdenes hacia el norte, llegando al lago Tahoe y en partes de Nevada, donde vimos en Lower Kingsbury y Upper Kingsbury ahora tenemos nuestras órdenes de evacuación. Hacia el sur del incendio, lo que vimos, ayer pudimos repopular estas áreas que están en la zona 1 y la zona 2, la vecindad de Pai Pai. Estas áreas ahora pueden regresar a su casa. Esta área amarilla que ven en el mapa son advertencias. Lo que es una advertencia, nosotros les estamos recomendando que estén listos para evacuar, que preparen sus medicamentos. Esos que no pueden moverse bien, que hagan un plan para asegurarse que tengan transporte fuera del área cuando cambie esa área a una orden. Para las órdenes de evacuación más corrientes, por favor, síganos en nuestras páginas de redes sociales. Acá las hemos publicado. Les quiero cerrar con el breve que dice nuestro comandante. Que nosotros queremos que ustedes sepan que todos los corporadores, todas las unidades que están trabajando en el incendio están luchando para que ustedes regresen a su casa. Por eso están en orden esas órdenes de evacuación. Es algo que trabajamos todos los días. Hay muchas juntas todos los días para asegurarse que cuando les demos la orden para regresar a su casa, ustedes no estén a riesgo. Muchas gracias. Que tengan buenas noches.